Hello, I'm the Renegade Gamer, and today I want to discuss Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, about 2 years ago, I posted a video basically announcing that they were remaking Final Fantasy VII. I was excited. I didn't know what they were going to do with it. So here we are, 2 years later. It is September the 5th today, at the time of this recording. We've gotten very little information over the last 2 years on what's the development of this game. Now, the reason I bring that up is because on September the 7th, that is the 20-year anniversary for the North American release of Final Fantasy VII. There's another date in November that is the release date anniversary for the PAL region. I think it's November the 19th. I might be wrong on that. But we literally have no new information. The last bit of information we really got was that CyberConnect 2, the people that made the .hack games, were working with Square, and then Square decided to basically knock them out of the circle, and they wanted to work it on an internal basis because they were dissatisfied with them, apparently. It was an internal thing. We're not sure exactly what happened there, but that's pretty much the last bit of information we got. The last bit of... we got a screenshot. We got some screenshots on the 30th anniversary for it, but no trailer. And Nomura said he wanted to put out a trailer, but Square Enix didn't let him. Look, I don't mind if it takes them a while to make a game. Okay, I don't. Final Fantasy 15, okay, technically speaking, Final Fantasy 13 Versus was in development hell for 10 years. Even got relabeled as Final Fantasy 15. Kingdom Hearts has been in development hell for almost 12 years. Granted, we've gotten titles between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, but it's still been in development hell. But we are getting trailers here and there, so you know it's easy to keep the hype going. 7, we really haven't gotten any information that much. We know it's an action RPG. Okay. We know that it does have a form of ATB in it, sort of, where it fills up a gauge and it looks like you're using your limit as a secondary, as kind of like a, you know, you're attacking normal and then suddenly like a super attack afterwards. Okay, we know that summons and magic is supposed to be in the game. We also know you're supposed to be able to control other characters. But outside that very first trailer we got, we really haven't received any other information about this game. And it's been over a year. Now, I'm an old school guy here, okay? In my opinion, if you don't have the product ready, you don't need to show it yet. I think Square Square has a real bad habit of this, if I'm being honest with you. They'll show their hand early. Hey, this is what we're working on. It'll be out. You're like, oh, cool, yeah. You get all hyped up. And then the waiting game begins. And continues. And continues. My point is, I would have been much, much happier if they were going to make the Final Fantasy VII release. Remake here, and basically not set anything until 6 months prior to release. Basically, what? Oh shoot! What was the name of that game? I can't think of it. Not Front Mission. Oh shit. Whatever. Fallout 4, that was the one I was thinking of. Fallout 4 basically released all this information at E3 that one year, and 6 months later you had the game in your hands. Whether good or bad, you had the game in your hands. Now, I would like them to make the game and it'd be fine, no problems. But my point is that they really blew their load a little bit too early on this one. The latest I've heard, and it's just rumors now because Square has literally not said anything else about it, is that, it could be 2018, it could be 2020. I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing this. If you got a game that you're wanting to make and it's in development, fine. Wait till it's closer to being completely done before you show the game off. That way you can generate hype, people have a lot more interest in it, and are not waiting as long. That's my issue here. But I have other issues as well. I know that there's videos out there on YouTube. I am well aware they are. I've watched a lot of them. People make good stuff about what is going to be in Final Fantasy VII versus what is not going to be in Final Fantasy VII. What changes are they going to make in Final Fantasy VII? What are they going to add to Final Fantasy VII? Where they, is this going to be in Final Fantasy VII? Is that going to be Final Fantasy VII? And I've thought a lot here, and I haven't posted anything on this subject because honestly, I didn't really have anything to say about it because it had been covered. But as I sat here and thought, I was sitting here thinking over the last few days about 7. There's a lot of stuff in 7 that I don't know if it will translate well over to a modern generation. Granted, we have a terrorist group, Avalanche. If you never played the game, I'm sorry, I'm going to be spoiling parts of it here. We have a terrorist group, Avalanche, that blows up a Mako reactor. Terrorism is still viewed pretty badly these days. Now, granted, it looks like Square's keeping with that anyway, and I applaud them. Stick to your guns on that area. You should. That's part of the story. We've already had it confirmed, basically, Cloud's going to be in the dress during the wall market sequence. Good job. That should not be changed. I don't care what kind of gender blender they got going on nowadays or what. That's a part of the story. It needs to stay in. But there are other sections of the story that I question. There's a dolphin sequence right outside of Junon that literally you have to get on the dolphin to get popped up in the air to get up to where the town is exactly. Is that sequence still going to be there? What about the Chocobo dance in the Chocobo farm? When you first arrive there, you get Choco Mob. You see the Chocobos do their little dance. What about, is Yuffie and Vincent going to be optional characters? If not, how are you going to implement them into the story? Also, is Gungaga still going to be an optional place that you go to? Is Watua going to be Watua, Yuffie's hometown, still going to be an optional area? Is the quest still going to take place there like that? What else are you planning on adding into the game? I know y'all said you were planning on expanding on Midgar itself, but here's the other issue I have with that. I don't mind you adding stuff. This is not the problem. But Final Fantasy VII has a very, very well done pace. The very first part with Midgar is paced very well. I mean, every part you go to, the story's going on its way. And it's not that I'm against exploration. I'm not. And it's not that I want to see this as a linear hallway game. I don't. I'm just asking questions here. What is it you're planning on adding? Are you planning on adding the entirety of Zack's backstory from Crisis Core? If so, how? Are you planning on adding the Deep Underground from Dirge of Cerberus? Are you planning on adding all the shitloads of things that happen with the Turks? And if so, how are you going to implement it into the story itself? Because Final Fantasy VII, no matter how you look at it, if you look at that original core game, that story stands alone. You don't really need all the external things out here to fill in the gaps of the story. They're there, they flesh things out, they're great. Well, their server is kind of bland to play, but my point is that 7 itself stands pretty well as it is. I don't really get the whole adding other things into the story. I mean, it might be cool. You run into Cessna, throughout the course of the game, or I guess if you ran across a member of Deep Underground or something like that. But is it really needed? I know that you want to do a reimagining of the story. I know that you want to search out more stuff within Midgar itself. Well, here's an idea I can give you. You have 3 characters at the very beginning of the game. Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. How about doing this? Instead of making them non-playable characters through that whole first sequence of the game, make them playable. Have them be a part of that operation. Literally a part of the operation while you go and get killing the Scorpion. That way, when Sector 7 does fall and they are killed, you may have some attachment to it. You may feel a lot more there. It's just an ideal. I mean, but what other sections of the game are you going to change? Cat Scythe. How does that work? How do you implement that into a new modern gaming era? I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of gamers nowadays that I know, that I've talked to, they don't really have that sense of disbelief that you can put forward for a stuffed talking robotic Moogle with a cat on its head. How do you implement that in a modern gaming aspect? How do you implement Red 13 fighting with combs? There are problems here, is what I'm saying. There's things that I'm concerned about. Do you keep certain aspects? Let's go mini-games wise, okay? You have the Gold Saucer. The Gold Saucer has 2 major plot points that happen in it. One dealing with Barrett, and of course the other one dealing with the bacteria. Are you going to keep the Gold Saucer as it is? And if so, are you going to have all the mini-games in it like it should have? Are we going to get the submarine game? Are we going to get the snowboarding game? Are we going to get the motorcycle game? Because here's another factor you got to think in effect. The original Final Fantasy VII changed up a lot of its gameplay as it went. You escape from Shinra, you get on a motorcycle, it changed the whole control scheme of the game. Same thing with a submarine. You get in a submarine, it completely changed what was going on. How do you implement that into this modern take of the story? And if you do, is it only for that section, or are we going to get to play it anymore? I don't know about y'all. I know a lot of people may find the submarine game boring. I love the submarine game. It's an easy way to get GP in the Gold Saucer. Snowboarding was fun, but and the motorcycle game was fun. I like the music in that one mostly. You also had the basketball mini game. You had the holographic kind of fighting guy you fought with 3 buttons. I never liked that one. But I'm just saying, is how do you implement some of this stuff? Are we still going to get the Cloud freezing outside of the freezing minigame as he's climbing the mountain? He's stopping and going for a few minutes. For that matter, getting Alexander in the middle of the snowy out of nowhere. Is that area still going to be like that? You see, back then you had pre-rendered, you had your pre-rendered background, so you could do a lot of stuff like this. It would work. But nowadays we have all the 3D technology and everything else that I'm not sure if you can make this stuff work for a modern game like this. Hey, you may be calling foul on me, and I understand that. It's just I'm not sure is all. Square hasn't really done a great job of communicating with the audience about what they got in mind about everything they want to do. We got some bare basics here. And it looks fine. I mean, the combat looks fine. The fact it's not turn-based is not a big deal to me, okay? I love turn-based combat. I love action combat. I love strategic combat. The only thing I ask is basically make it good. That's it. I can work with whatever combat system you throw at me, as long as it isn't tedious. I'm just curious. I'm curious as hell. What are they doing here? Why haven't we gotten any more information? September 7th is in 2 days. Well, technically, where I'm sitting here, it's a day and a half away, or a day and an hour away. Are we going to get some kind of release date on September 7th? Or any kind of information? This is the 20th anniversary of this game. I'm 36 years old. I have no problem releasing my age. I don't care. Okay? I'm 36 years old. I played this game when I was 16 years old. That's 20 fucking years we've been waiting for this remake. And Square has not given a lot of information that we would like to hear. 15, you got information all the fucking time when it finally got in development. Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally getting a lot of information out there, but 7 still doesn't have a lot going for it as far as the information goes. And God help us, we haven't heard anything about Final Fantasy 16. But I'm just curious. I want to know where are y'all at? Are y'all done with the first installment? If so, when's it going to be released? If not, give us a fucking update. I'm just like, just give us an update, okay? One small little note, you know, we're halfway through it. Okay, fine, I understand that. Set release date, 2019. Okay, I'm fine with that. Just give us a fucking update. You know? It's not that freaking hard. But what do I know? You know, I mean, seriously, I'm a guy on the internet. I'm not a game developer. What the fuck do I know? I'm just a player. So, anyway, I'm the Renegade. And hopefully what I've said here at least has kind of got some cogs in your mind thinking a little bit about, you know, some of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. How are they going to do some of this stuff? Anyway, y'all take it easy. I'll catch you in the next episode.